Hey everyone, and welcome back to Digitally Twisted Outlaw News. Alright, so an update concerning Amouranth, what's her name? Caitlin Saragusa. I don't think that's her real name. Anyways, so we got an update from her, and a lot's been going on. And honestly, I think what we're seeing here is not only an ugly domestic dispute, a toxic relationship, but I'm beginning to get Britney Spears vibes. Like, when we started talking about this yesterday and people were losing their damn minds, we're trying to get to the bottom of what's going on here. Amouranth is not like some solo streamer, whatever, who just goes and shows off her goods.
Right.
And we made a video about it, she's actually quite a business tycoon. She's got a lot of assets and business in her name.
Yeah.
One such business is called Real Work, which links creators with personal assistants. I don't know how popular that is, but this is like back in July of this year, not that long ago. She owns not one, but 2 gas stations, or at least 25% ownership of 2 gas stations. And there's also been some weird stuff, too. There's been one moment where she almost lost $2 million because of a type O, which is odd. That was earlier this year, back in March. Yeah. And then there's another one where her OnlyFans got hacked. Granted, OnlyFans, I mean, when you're that popular and you have that many obsessive people chasing after you, hacks will happen. But yeah, I think there's a lot of background issues that is not being completely unveiled and is being hidden and tucked away. With this update we got from her, I want you guys to take a look at this spot right here. Amouranth's team. She's not sitting in a house by herself with the husband locking her away and throwing away the key. She definitely seems to control, or somebody controls, the Twitch, the response. Because she typed in Sherry's text messages, which is kind of weird why you would call Sherry. She explained it during her live stream that it was a nickname her husband put on her phone just in case the fans saw that somebody was calling her. It's like, the issue here is that we're dealing with somebody who's dealt a lot with deception and manipulation. And she seems to be surrounded by people that also want to deceive and manipulate. And not just her husband, but also her team. So we're dealing with a huge, like I would say a decent sized group of people that are deceiving and manipulating at the same time. I think this goes a lot deeper than just 2 people that have a very toxic relationship and need to get divorced and go their own way. So here we start off with a person employed by Twitch streamer Amouranth. Again, that's an assistant. And in this video, we had an assistant who popped in. It's like, hey, have you taken your medication? Which means that someone is watching her Twitch stream. Someone is managing it. Throughout other videos I've watched, a lot of people in the comment section say they tend to get booted and banned if they bring up the fact that she's married, or they say something that would interfere with her live stream. So she's not just, guys, she's not just sitting by herself in her bikini in her hot tub just doing whatever. In fact, I would almost argue she may not even be in a house. She might be in like what looks like a house, but is actually a studio.
Yeah, just set up to look like a teenage girl's bedroom.
Yeah, I mean, it looked, her main one that she streams in is like, okay, that just looks too much like a teenage girl's bedroom. It's like, that's, okay, no. She's 29 years old.
Yeah.
Get out of here. And again, she is a business tycoon, a force to be reckoned with. So there's a lot of weird stuff going on here. And then you've got the businesses she owns, the gas stations that she owns in her name. You've got all this weird activity with her accounts. Like, who the hell does a typo error for $2 million?
Yeah.
I sure as hell don't do a typo error when we're just sitting like a couple $100s. So something's not right. It could be the husband, but I think it's everyone. I think it's one weird, twisted, toxic, multiple relationships, partnerships that's just got way out of hand. And if we had the full story, the background, it probably would explode in such a way that a lot of these streamers and e-streamers, e-girls, these YouTube stars would never want us to really see because it's going to break open and expose everything. So she may not just be a victim of domestic abuse. She also may be a perpetrator of domestic abuse, but she also could be a victim of corporate abuse, tied down with not only like her legal team, but her handlers are her team, her financial team, who's just using her and she's using them. And it's just, it brings me back to a lot of the 80s rock bands that made their own music, but they really didn't. Someone else wrote the music for them and they would just play it, and their managers just controlled their lives.
Yeah.
I think that's what we're seeing here. But in order for them to continue to make tons of money off of her, or her make, again, we don't know. That's what we're getting at. There's obviously something wrong going on with her. She has obviously some mental issues because someone's checking in, supposedly in her private home, if you're taking your medication, while her Twitch stream is also being monitored. For all we know, during this Twitch stream, maybe she did have, I don't know, maybe it could also be maybe the husband is trying to shake up everything and get money and cause problems in the background. The production team's working with her to get rid of him. Or, I don't know, maybe it was a complete breakdown in their freakish control system. We don't know.
It's a glitch in the Matrix.
Well, no, that just makes us, no, I'm not, that's, no.
I was making a joke.
This is serious.
Sorry.
This is serious. Something is going wrong that goes much deeper than we know. Like, this is just too much of a controlled facade. YouTube is not a free creator zone anymore. The only people that make it are those who get tied in somehow with a production company. And everybody else gets capped and put under control. Because in the end of the day, YouTube only has so many available viewers. Like our channel, for instance, we have videos that we do really, really well. They're going viral, and then all of a sudden they just drop hard. And over time, what that's led me to believe, and watching other people how slowly and painfully they grow, that YouTube is not the open free market system that it originally was. It's now capped. And anybody who's the freebies floating around without corporate media, our production company controlling them, are only given a small amount of the piece of pie just to keep everybody happy and keep that dream going. And the production companies, like you got your Logan Pauls and your Amaranths, are given way much more leeway. Granted, she's not a really YouTube star, she's in Twitch, but the same thing applies. So you want to control that business and you want to keep that revenue coming along. So there's a lot more going on than what we think. And I'm very curious to keep digging and see what we can find out. Will we be allowed to find out anything more additionally? I don't think so. Because according to this article, her and her husband are back to talking again. And you made the joke about Twitch in the glitch in the Matrix, but it may be just that. It may be that she temporarily wasn't taking her medication, or she just had enough, or her and her husband fighting. Because I guarantee you, it's a toxic relationship. It's like your wife's on this thing all day long, being chased after by thirsty boys. You're nowhere to be found. And who even knows if they even have a loving relationship? You could just be using her for money or be along for the ride. Like, we know almost nothing about this guy other than a possible Twitter feed. Right. Like I said, I'm not defending anybody. I think this toxic relationship across the board, but yikes. Okay. And then Amouranth's content lead. Content lead. That means there's other people. Content assistant, content, specialist. This is her lead. And in his Twitter feed, Twitter post, he puts, latest update on Kate/Amouranth. People on the team were able to talk to her, and she says she's fine. Police went multiple times since, see, this is also the other problem. Remember those text messages where, like, nobody was spelling correctly? This guy has terrible grammar. Like, there's just so many things up in the air and questionable about this. It's like, we know someone was yelling at her. She says it's her husband. Nick Lee is almost nowhere to be found.
Right. I mean, he's not giving any
statements. These guys are running the show now. Her team, remember, the team of handlers. She's not by herself, guys, regardless of what she'll tell you on her Twitch stream or on her DMs. She's got a whole production company behind her and financial advisors, financial teams. She's much bigger than you'd think. Anyways, so police went multiple times since 5 a.m. yesterday. She says she's okay, so they can't do much. Well, being yelled at online is... Hi, cat. Being yelled at online is not going to get somebody arrested unless there's like physical violent threats made. That the police will come through, but it's up to her whether or not she wants to press charges. If she has information where she can press charges, okay?
Exactly.
You can only hide so much with your content team and your financial team. They can only take over so much, unless, like I said earlier, beginning of this podcast, we have like a Britney Spears.
Mm-hmm.
She spent all day talking to her husband to sort things out. Not sure what else we can do right. Like, what the hell does this mean? It's like, why isn't she saying something?
Well, and then doesn't it say later on, like today, that she was going to do a stream, but then abruptly ended it because she said the cops are here?
So
I keep waiting to see if she streams again.
Went live, but you went live with saying the cops are here, be back later. They didn't put the text or the tweet here, but pretty much she says the starter stream stopped it saying cops are here, be back later. So, what the hell is going on? I mean, it's obviously there's a huge issue between her and her husband. Mm-hmm. It's a toxic relationship. He's freaking yelling out like a psychopath. She's, from what we could see on the Twitch stream, trying to at least put words in his mouth. Like we didn't hear.
We didn't hear what he said.
There's text messages that are supposedly from him. Their name's Sherry. Supposedly he controls everything, but she's Twitch streaming and throwing him under the bus, and he's not stopping the stream or monitoring it or calling and yelling during that time, or
if he controls,
or unless he felt comfortable and he called her and thought she was just going to do as he says and keep it on mute, but then she's like, nope. Or the production company is doing a hit job. There's too much going on here that's it stinks. It stinks really bad. It's like a giant pile of crap. Something's not right. That's our cat wanting whipped cream. Something's not right. We're going to dig as deep as we can get, but obviously this is an Outlaw channel. We cover all sorts of stuff, but I don't want this to become an Amouranth channel. But there's something here. There's something not right, and something stinks. So, at the very least, we can glad to say that she's
okay.
Going through her team. No, we don't know that.
Oh.
At least we hearing from her team that she's okay. But obviously she's not okay. But then there's too much going on. It stinks. I don't like it. I'm getting Britney Spears vibes now. And yeah. It might be her face, her brand. She might own the assets. But who's steering the ship? Especially if like people are checking in after she had a meltdown and yelling.
Asking if she's taking her meds.
Yeah.
And yeah, why couldn't she go on her Twitter to say something besides, oh, the cops are here, I'll be back later.
Right.
Which I keep checking. She's not back.
So that's all we got to say. That's our update for today. Lot going on. There's something stinky going on. And we'll try to get more information on there, but unfortunately, if there's no legal action, there's really not much you can get. We're limited on what we can find out. And if she doesn't reach out, nothing much else too. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, and in cases of domestic abuse, if they show up and the woman says, oh, no, I'm okay, I'm okay, the cops are going to leave. It's like what happened with the Gabby Petito and Brian Laundrie situation when they got stopped, and she was clearly very shaken and distraught, but she was telling them, oh, no, I'm okay, we were just fighting, it's all my fault, it's okay, and they talked to him, he said the same thing, and the police left. And that's been very heavily contested body cam footage, but yes, if the cops don't witness anything and both parties are saying, oh, no, everything's fine, they can't do anything. Sadly.
Yep. So it's best to be honest. If you're having issues, and go get help, regardless of what level help you feel like you think is necessary.
There's a lot of different resources out there for women to get out of abusive relationships, to do it very low key, and
you should take advantage of it. And yeah, I still think that we and everybody else has a right to question what is being shown on the public stage, because obviously something stinks here. Something's not right. Yeah. All right. Outlaws and all the other people. We'll see you later.
bye.